All right, Maya, what's the comedian's guide to fixing the problem?
Comedians are going to fix everything. No, I think, as we're all sitting here and we're absorbing all of this information, as a country, we're suffering sort of like a problem-solving crisis. I love to study systems theory. I love to look at different frameworks for solving problems, and it struck me how close the process of being a comedian, of writing comedy, of getting on stage is a problem-solving process. And so I created a sort of framework that helps me approach problems that I think we can use as content creators, as consumers of content, to help us move the conversation forward. So first thing is like the attitude, the positive attitude, the inspiration, right? Like you saw how I flipped it to the positive aspect. I was like, no, we're not gonna go sad right now. It's okay to feel sad and honor the sadness and do all those things, but then in order to solve a problem, we have to, one, have the attitude that we will solve the problem, that our democracy is not going to fall. Right? Doesn't matter how many QAnon followers there are, how many people who want political violence. No, we have to have the attitude, because every time I see somebody get negative online, I'm like, if my great grandparents felt that way about surviving slavery, like where would I be right now? It's like, no, you fight maybe because you're not going to reach where you want to reach in your lifetime, but you fight regardless, right? So it's attitude. Right, that's the first thing. Distilling the problem, right? In comedy, it's about distilling a joke, right? You cut out all the fat. That's what you want to do when you're trying to define the problem that we're facing, right? We're looking around and we're going, okay, what exactly are we facing? A crisis of trust in America. We don't trust each other. We don't trust our neighbors. We don't trust our politicians. We don't trust our media sources, right? So we have a trust issue, or it's like a relationship. Right? And so then we can start thinking about solutions. When the next thing is to like look around, read the room, right? And so it's reading the room. I translate it into looking at the resources that are available to us as content creators, as consumers of content. And we have access to some of the most brilliant minds in the world. And sometimes those brilliant minds need help translating their stories so that they're accessible for other people, right? Like, you helped tell Navalny's story. Like, that's so incredibly important, right? And so, like, I interviewed Barbara F. Walter, who probably most of you have never heard of, but she wrote How Civil Wars Start.
We know her, right, Brian?
Yes. I talked to her
She's
too,
amazing, right?
She's incredible.
Incredible.
She's on the political instability task force, and I was like, should I be packing my go bag or what? Do I need to but she has all of this knowledge about the conditions that lead to a civil war starting, and those conditions exist right now here in America. But unfortunately, she's not on all of the late night shows. She's not being interviewed. Why? Because she's an academic. And sometimes academics have a hard time getting their messages out. And so us as content creators, we have to find those people and help them tell their stories. Right? When we talked earlier about being better storytellers, that's what it means. It's finding the stories that need to be told.
I'm into that.
Yeah, and then just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's that repetition when you're telling a joke as a comedian. It's like you got to do it over and over and over again, and maybe it gets boring in your mind, but you got to make it interesting and fresh every single time. We have to repeat it the same way Fox News repeats it, because that's how they're able to do what they're doing. We need to do a little bit more of that. So that's it. Comedian's Guide to Problem Solving. Boom.
Love it. Write a book.
I will.
Okay.